Rocks Canyon, Bobby Capucci, Lee Honish. Thank you guys for being here. We apologize if you get any wind blowing effects, but we thought we'd give you a view this time since I was in town, and we're here to do this week's episode. How are you, Bobby?
I'm doing well, Lee. Thanks.
Great. What are we talking about this week?
Man, we got a lot of stuff going on. Go rehash the timeline. You want to talk about the timeline?
We can talk about the timeline. So first and foremost, thanks to everybody who sent an email. Go to the Jeff Epstein Show at Gmail and send us your emails. We actually appreciate it. That's why we're actually giving you, if you're listening to the podcast, go over to the Facebook page. You get video of us sitting in beautiful Red Rock Canyon. Yeah, a little bit of wind. Audio-wise, I'm sure I'll clean it up a little bit on post for all of you listening. But suck it up, Buttercup.
The view is worth it.
The view is worth it. So go over to Facebook and check it out. It is the Jeffery Epstein Show. It's the only Jeffery Epstein Show on Facebook. We've cornered the market on all the Jeffrey Epstein things. And I'm going to do another big shout out. Go to Airbnb 55 and sign up. You'll get a $50 credit. I'm not doing it. I don't really make anything on this deal. But I'm staying at a great place. Like this weekend is unreal with Las Vegas Speedway.
Oh, yeah, it's going crazy in town right now.
Clapton.
Yep.
Iron Maiden. Championship fight on Saturday.
A lot of stuff going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So dumps on these weekends are just unbelievable. And if you go to Airbnb 55, I set it up so you guys get a $55 credit for your next stay, recommending Vegas. Just go over to my profile, Lee Honish, and you'll see great house. Shout out to this dude who's got a brand new condo. It's $40 a night.
Can't beat
I
that.
can't shit on Airbnb.
Yeah.
As much as I try, I want to shit on Airbnb like I'm gonna be the guy with the bad experience.
Yeah, no, I've always had a good experience as well.
It's awesome, especially on a weekend like this. I'm not paying $200 for a dump.
Yeah, no.
I'll pay $36 for a dump.
Not $200.
Not $200. And my favorite dump is even $156 to stay there.
It's really crazy what they're doing with the prices right now in town.
Come on out to Vegas. You can't beat it. It's the perfect time of year for this. Big shout out to the Parks and Rec of Nevada. And Red Rock is still literally one of the most stunning things on the planet. All right, you guys want to, we had two emails. First one was someone who wanted more of a timeline, which is what we're going to talk about. Second email was a guy who was bringing in different aspects.
Yeah, he was talking a little bit about the stuff that's going on right now with Andrew McCabe, which I'd like to start out with that, obviously.
Perfect.
Remember a few years back, you and I did a couple of podcasts about the whole FISA investigation.
Correct.
And how things weren't what they seemed and how there were cutting corners. The government, like usual, was cutting corners to get the job done.
Right.
Okay. So what we heard from the mainstream media throughout that whole entire thing was we were crazy.
Right.
There's no way that was happening. No one in their right mind would ever lie to the FISA court because how do you get away with it?
Sure.
Well, lo and behold, Contreras, one of the FISA court judges, he had to get recused from the case because he was friends with Peter Strzok.
Of course.
And they were buddies at a golf course. So the first FISA warrant that
you're basically describing the Antonio Brown saga played out on a government level of how does Drew Rosenhaus not know of what's going on?
Once again, and it all falls back to the Epstein case, and it all ties in from this at this part at the very least. The government is the most devious, corrupt institution on this planet. And I don't just mean our government. Like I always say, every single government on this planet is corrupt and devious, and they
should we have changed the name of the show to I don't know?
Yeah,
because right. Look at what we have this weekend now playing out. I'm bringing in the Antonio Brown thing because it's exactly the same thing. So you're creating enough drama so that there's media attention, but really you just want out because you want to go play for another team.
Exactly.
And now your agent is doing
I had no idea.
Right. How would I know what he's doing?
Right.
Even though there are reports that you had conversations and you actually hired someone to help you do what you just, I didn't know.
And that's their excuse because they know they're going to get cover in the media. Nobody's going to ask the questions that need to be answered because guess what? It's more important to worry about a Sharpie and a weather report.
So what we've been saying is now playing out. It's led beyond just what the government and big business does, which is, we'll say it again, most people have a 4-month timeline of what the news cycle follows. At the end of that 4-month time, you're going to get drips and drabs, right? So now let's apply that to someone like me who would study that and go, okay, how do I do this for my client? Now we're watching Antonio Brown play out the same misdirection tactic.
Exactly right. And it's the
and everybody just stands around and goes, oh, we're the Patriots.
Right.
We didn't know.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? We didn't.
Oh, he's going to play
How
it
did we?
an investigation.
It's a coincidence he
Right.
signed within an hour.
Exactly.
It's a coincidence I'm his friend. It's a coincidence that he was peddling girls.
And it's always the same. When you look at, they should make a band called the Know Nothings.
We know nothing. I know nothing.
And that's all of them. You look at all these, and now you have the academics as well. But we'll get to that in a minute. What I want to talk about is how I predicted on this show that Andrew McCabe would be prosecuted. And what is happening? And I'll also tell you right now, James Comey is not out of the woods yet. Just because he didn't get prosecuted for leaking those emails, classified emails.
But it's demonstrated that he did cut corners.
What they did is they set the groundwork.
Right.
The IG investigation has set the groundwork. Now, let's remember that Special Investigator Durham is really on the case, and he's the one that's going to bring criminal charges. So Comey is not out of the woods yet, and the major charges are coming. We only have the IG report so far. We don't have the full report yet, and we all know it's damning from what we've seen from the IG report.
Right.
We've never seen any kind of gross misconduct in the government the way it's happened before, but we've never had a curtain pulled back.
Right.
So now we see the way they operate. Everything's an intelligence operation to these people. Me and you, we're not people. This is an intelligence operation, and we're assets.
I understand. And I'm going to say this again to everybody with my disclaimer now that you know my face and you're stalking me on social media and sending me emails. Devil's advocate, because that's what makes this show work. Why is anybody surprised?
Oh, I don't think anybody is surprised.
Again, I'm a billionaire. I need my government to do what I want it to do.
Correct.
I'm the government trying to keep my elitist top 10%, the moneymakers, as happy as possible, as controlled as possible, right? Strife within that group, strife within the lower group,
Yep.
people taking advantage of growth groups.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to explain this to my mother the other day. I said, be realistic about this. I mean, the United States itself is nothing more than a corporation with its own corporate espionage and its own issues.
It's absolutely.
And people trying to manipulate world governments for their own benefits. Again, I'll say it. If I'm Jeff Bezos, I'm playing this game.
Oh.
I don't have a choice. And that's why none of you, I think, should ever be surprised when another name comes up like, I don't know, Yale University.
Yeah, or like they haven't even reported it yet, and I'll report it right now because I can confidently report it. It's been sourced, and it's been in the news previously.
Okay.
Arizona State University.
There you go.
Accepted $250,000 from
We didn't know.
Epstein. No, we have no
We
idea.
didn't know.
Meanwhile, the man who accepted it, Lawrence Krauss, also has a
Lawrence Krauss, we didn't know.
He had a sexual misconduct case against him as well.
I didn't know.
He wrote the physics of Star Trek.
Of course.
And he created the
Friends with Penn Jillette, friend to all atheists. He's
what do you know?
Democrat at heart.
We had no idea what was going on.
I didn't know. Did you know?
You know what I would love to see? I would love that to be the defense for the next wise guy who gets nailed.
I feel like I need a button like the old Staples commercial, like just so I can hit it every time and go, we didn't know.
It's so, that's what's so maddening about this whole thing. And that's why I refuse to stop.
I'm not surprised by it. Look, again, plausible deniability works from, okay, so for those of you who don't know my history, let me give you a brief background. I'm a former banker before all of this shit happened to me in 2007. The reason I'm telling you that, as an asset manager, you work on fraud. And I will explain it all to you the way I have explained it to all the homeowners who got fucked in the downturn. Well, I didn't know that somebody else was living there. I didn't know what was on the contract. Is that your signature on the paper?
Right.
Yes. But I didn't know.
Yep.
Stupidity and ignorance don't change the fraud.
That used to be the metric. But now
Right.
we live in a society.
I didn't know.
We live in a society where it's full of I don't knows and this is my truth.
Somebody else did it.
What does
Wasn't
that even
me.
What does that even mean? This is my truth. There is one truth. There is not two truths. There's not five truths. There's not six truths. There's not 10 truths. There's the truth. And the cancel culture of this country, and take that for however you may.
But isn't that, look, all of this is playing on some symptomatic issues of the United States, right?
Yes.
I used to walk around and my big catchphrase wasn't me, I wasn't there.
Right.
I didn't do
It
it.
wasn't me.
Wasn't me, wasn't there. Do you have photos?
Like Shaggy, the singer.
Right. Wasn't me, I wasn't there.
Me. Nope.
You got proof?
Right.
You got video.
I need DNA. Video. I don't even trust
Right.
DNA.
What's changed dramatically from making those jokes in the 90s and the aughts to now is Yeah, I got a camera on my house, motherfucker.
Right.
I saw you picking up the package.
100%. We live in the society that was explained to us in 1984. We're basically that.
Right. And you guys all don't like it, and I get it. As you watch us on camera in Red Rock via remote in a place that has no cell reception, you're watching this video or listening to this audio, and my answer to that would be, well, yeah, I'm a marketing guy. I already accept it because I'm a marketing content consultant, and I deal mostly with Facebook. Yeah, there are a billion people on Facebook right now, and those of you that are on it following Epstein, guess what? In your feed are Epstein-specific stories happening.
Yep.
If there are a billion people on Facebook right now, they have 1 billion different news feeds happening at this moment.
For sure. And that's what happens. People don't follow all the news. They follow the news that they feel good about.
Right.
Nobody wants to go out of their comfort zone anymore. See, for me, I live outside of my comfort zone. If you take a look back there,
that's his comfort zone.
That's my comfort zone. On top of those mountains, that's where I spend my time. All those mountains where I spend my time and where I recharge and rethink, and I set up, what we're going to do on this podcast, et cetera, et cetera. But my point of the matter is, you got to be out of your comfort zone. And these people that are on these college campuses that want to get rid of freedom of speech, they get offended by microaggressions.
Crunchy millennial tag. Too much system, too much man.
It's unbelievable.
Okay, too much system, too much man.
It's unbelievable.
The reason you know about Epstein is because of too much system, too much man.
Yes.
If we didn't have too much system, too much man, this is once again swept under the rug.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of... let's turn off all the cameras, we go dark.
And that's it. And if this was say 10 years ago, that's what would have been happening.
Right.
Because there aren't people like
I don't
us.
know.
There aren't guerrilla journalists like us who are just...
You got photos of me?
Right.
Well, we actually have a painting of you, Bill.
Right.
I can't help it. I was the president.
27 times in the logbook, sir. Can you please answer why you were on this plane 27 times?
I can't.
I don't
Clearly,
remember.
he's trying to create a case that I was there to use against me at some later time.
And
it's obvious. The man was obsessed with me.
And if
I can talk myself out of all of these if you don't have pictures of it happening.
He could, and that's the thing though, we don't know what they have. When they raided this house,
again, much like this camera, I'm all about these cameras.
The thing that we have to remember is all these cases are intertwined.
Right.
Now remember, they found Anthony Weiner's laptop when they were, back in the day. So there was stuff on that laptop as well, some classified information, blah, 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 that was never released to the public.
Well, let's go with the simple Hillary thing. And I'm not bashing on Hillary. I wasn't talking about classified documents on my personal emails. Okay, we're just going to look at the history. What's the history?
Exactly.
What's the history, bud? I don't know where my computer is now.
Bleach bitting your computer? Look, here's the thing. I never pile on the left on this.
I'm a corporate guy. I'm all for shredding docs.
But here, you can't, the absolute, the gall. You see the tweets that she fires off?
Yeah.
She's just running around like there's no problem in the world.
But again, we've allowed it up to that time frame. Up to that time frame, I'm a company.
Yep.
Let's say that I'm IndyMac Bank, something I'm familiar with. I am the former CEO of that bank. Everything's going belly up, and they're going to investigate me because my old buddy, who I used to run Countrywide with, is now under indictment for making bad, shitty loans. And I might have made a few questionable inside loans, and that means they're going to raid me. It's in my best interest to file bankruptcy, lock up my records, and shred everything.
Yes, it is.
Because I invest in you.
Right.
That's the way, look, everybody calm down on your conspiracies. That's the way the country's structured.
And
our whole lives revolve around the concept of investing into anything.
Yep.
Right?
Our
money doesn't mean
religion, anything.
Anything.
You have to buy in.
You are buying into it. Right? So the Catholics have to believe that their settlement is taking care of it.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
The rest of the priests, I don't know.
Right.
Unless you got video, it didn't happen.
And the Muslims have to believe they're getting their 72.
That's correct.
So they all have every dogma, including the dogma of corporatocracy. And let me tell you,
that's a fair, and that's got to be corporate. Look, I realize that we're in the conspiracy pipeline here, and there are plenty of them to discuss. Don't go down that road of, that's why. No, this is business.
Yes, it's always about the money. And when I say that there's incredibly powerful, evil people running this country, and the world, I don't mean people sitting in a back room.
No, I mean the people that are in the middle,
in the boardroom. These guys, and I don't mean regular CEOs. I'm talking about
what is it? Roger, what's his name? Trump's guy, get me
Roger Stone.
Roger Stone, a guy who is designed to squeeze one side and to produce the other side. And if you go, well, you're anti-Trump now, Lee. He's worked for both sides.
Exactly right, and that's what political operators have always done. See, it's all about the money. They'll dig up the dirt on anyone. Okay, there's only one company that seems to only work one way, and that's the company that was involved in this whole dossier, Fusion GPS and Glenn Simpson. So we've talked about this ad nauseum, but this all ties in because it shows how these politicians and their elite buddies feel like they can do whatever they want. They can end around the system. They feel like they can even file false FISA. Do you understand?
I understand, and I'm going to go back to the Antonio Brown example. My company is the Patriots.
Right.
My job is to win Super Bowls for my fan base who invest in me every single year. Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, Kraft has more money than God, and he's going to get off where the rest of us would go to jail for getting a hand job. That's not the point.
Well, you know, and we're on that point. I don't even really care. The chick was 18. You know what I mean?
She was legally.
Whatever.
The reason I bring that up, don't they have a fiduciary responsibility to their clients to produce the best product?
100%.
Okay. So, going back, am I mad at the Patriots? Am I mad at the social media guy that he hired who concocted this whole thing? Am I mad at Drew Rosenhaus? And that's what this Epstein thing is. Am I mad at Epstein?
Here's for me.
He's an ends to a means. He is the Patriots of this situation.
For me, here's how it breaks down, though.
Or is he the middle?
We're the employer.
I get that.
We are not and the government has forgotten that. But and people always say, well, the people, they're not going to rise up. They don't care. There's a great awakening taking place right now. Now that social media has taken around the world.
But again, without shitting on our fan base on this topic, and again, I'm not shitting on you, please. I would hate to have to choke any of you out or physically kill you. Because I realize I got the role of devil's advocate. I keep prefacing so I don't have some lunatic who goes, I know where your daughter is. Well, I'm going to find out where you are, and that'll be the end of you. I get that, and I'm with you. But now you get lumped into, and what? There were two shooters in the assassination case?
It becomes the whole thing. See what
and that's what everybody wants.
But that's all part of the plan.
What's the real law? Who's attached? Which is why I brought up RICO. This is a case against a lot of people. Charge them all. Charge them all. Let the lawyers sort it out.
If you go back and you look even before all of this happened, 6, 7, 8 years ago, there was authors talking about something called the quote-unquote deep state.
Right.
And it's always been there. And what happens is it's all these bureaucrats that are in these jobs that have been there for 15, 25, 30 years. They have an idea of what their vision for what the world is supposed to be. And this has been happening since World War II.
Right.
There's that post-expansionary vision after the Marshall Plan, blah, 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 blah. Like all intertwines. So these dudes have still to this very day.
But these are, look, again, plausible outcomes, right? You can go back to the Iran case of Middle East destabilization. It's not a conspiracy.
It's still going on.
It's a logical ends to a means. Somebody is asked with the task. Is the guy a bad guy for writing the book? Or is it somebody in the government goes, how do I really move into this region?
Right.
You need a traumatic event. Once the traumatic event happens, you want this to happen, you want this to happen.
Well, look, the problem is, America especially, we meddle everywhere around the world.
I get that. Do I think that the American government would be so cold as to sell small children to gain an end? Do I think the government would allow 9/11? Just a shout out to 9/11. Bobby's in New Yorker. I don't believe in the conspiracy. I think we slept and we got caught.
I've reported on this.
Yeah.
I have a 4-page story I wrote about two of the hijackers who lived with an FBI informant.
Right.
So what it was a breakdown, a systematic breakdown. Correct. It wasn't George Bush.
It's a complete sleep on the job, much like Pearl Harbor.
But I will say this:
they're not going to do it.
The response to it, though, was criminal. George Bush's response.
We didn't
was
know.
His response.
We didn't know.
100%. He's a war criminal. Him and Rumsfeld.
We didn't know.
Both criminals.
Right. You're not going to charge him. Sorry.
Right.
Because they had a plan in place for a traumatic event because they hired someone. And everybody points at these books and goes, there's the conspiracy. No. Guys like me are hired to go, tell me what's going to happen tomorrow if XYZ happens. Okay. Well, boxing will go on to streaming apps, and streaming apps will become the wave of the future. So if it were me, I would do XYZ. So if that happens, Am I the bad guy because I predicted the outcome?
Here's the thing, though. Out of all of this, the thing that's most important to remember is what we've seen in the last 2 years in the media. If you watch Rachel Maddow, all you heard was about Russia collusion. You watch CNN, Russia collusion. Okay? Now, what did the Mueller report say?
What does the Mueller report say? And you want to speak up. And why aren't we... Are we being heard? I assume we are.
I hope so. If not, we'll have to...
I assume it's okay. If you're listening to this in the middle of the podcast going, what's happening with you guys? No, the camera, it's just slow on the reaction. And there's wind. All right, we're good. I'm just making sure that you heard all of it in the middle of it. Turn the volume up a little bit.
Yeah, so the whole situation, it's all screwed.
I agree. But again, this is your problem. And I mean us. It's a royal we statement. We allowed this system to go into place where guys who do this kind of shit,
but the thing is,
hire guys who figure plausible outcomes for bad shit to happen.
We don't have to accept it, though.
No. Again, the breakdown in the system is this: we have to believe in the legal system, and the legal system was broken down because we allowed too many lawyers, and the lawyers got their lobbyists, and now the lawyers have the final say.
Well, it's the loopholes in that from the lawmakers themselves. See, the problem. All of our problems come from the same place.
Right. How are they ultimately ending the opioid crisis?
They're not.
It took an entire state to file a class action lawsuit. A bunch of people going, "You're killing our whole state." We proved it. We could show how you did it.
And this is part of it too. The war on drugs. We've talked about it. The war on drugs. If they would just end prohibition, you wouldn't have fentanyl in people's drugs. They'd be able to go to their doctor, get a prescription. They're sick people. They're not bad people. These people are sick, and I have to, I have relatives who have suffered from addiction. I've lost one to an overdose. So if he was getting clean drugs from his doctor instead of getting dirt drugs from some guy that makes it wherever the hell makes it.
Look, I just watched the Kim Burns documentary on prohibition. Right. The minute you take something away from the American people, they'll do twice as much.
Exactly right. It's just human nature, and especially American nature.
Now, the reason I'm telling you guys all this is not for our ADD to get off track. We've allowed this. You've elected these people.
And over and over.
Over and over.
Right.
You're allowing the system to occur. If you want to make a difference, going, fuck the man.
Yep.
Right? As a former banker, as a guy who believes in both right and left principles on multiple topics, the thing that frustrated me the most after the collapse wasn't the bailout. You didn't have a choice.
Right.
That had to happen. Right? Because we're just printing money anyway. Oh, that was our money. Really? Really, you're going to assume all $8 trillion in debt or whatever it is now, whatever ridiculous number we keep printing to. That's what you're going to accept. That whole debt is on me. I wouldn't pay a tax ever again if you're going to tell me that I'm responsible for $8 trillion in debt. Right? That's just not, I file bankruptcy.
Yep.
Right? The reason I tell you guys all this is that system could be, like at the crash, I just saw a bunch of people motivated, which I went, yay. And then you slept in a park and then shit in the park and then fucked up most of New York and then fucked up parts of LA with no outcome to it. Your big plan was to occupy.
It's tribal. What it comes down to is tribalism.
I got bad news for you. You guys made it exactly one news cycle in 4 months.
Exactly. And where are you now?
Where are you now? Instead, you could have gone into politics. You could have gotten a degree, learned poli-sci, learned the system, gotten a law degree. Become a lawyer, fight for civil rights.
What we have a problem with nowadays is we have coffee shop revolutionaries, slacktivists.
Please don't hate us. I've had coffee. I don't know what his excuse is.
The people that
he's age appropriate. I'm not even age appropriate to look at you kids and go, fucking grow up. Do something. You want to change the world?
Right.
Go out and pick up a fucking can.
Get off the couch.
Oh, it's terrible. We have global warming. Go pick up a fucking can. I don't see you on my beach picking up shit every Sunday like I do.
Right. Exactly.
I don't make a big production about it.
It's the virtue signaling. They're farming likes on their social media.
It's Twitter.
Their whole life.
We've become Twitter.
And Twitter only represents maybe 15-20% of us.
Again, but that's how you get someone elected. I hate to keep going back to this. Netflix, by the way, people, we've given this recommendation. If I can take a niche and take that niche, because I'm sure there are rational people listening going, yeah, I'm frustrated. Clearly you're demonstrating a repeat of shit happening.
Right.
This guy is just the antithesis of what
You know what's got to this point? We've seen it.
He's the zit.
We've seen it so many times. We've seen it when we just thumbed our noses. We have other problems. We can't. But now that there are children involved, it's changed everything for life.
Right. Oh, God forbid. You guys didn't seem to give a shit about guns.
Yeah, and no, you know what? I don't either. Until, look, I'm a political guy, and I study political theory.
and a gun owner.
Well, that too. But if they go in and they can just executive order away an amendment,
right?
Where does that leave us? What if someone wants to get rid of the 10th or the 14th?
I'm not.
What then?
Again, it's not the right to bear arms. You're telling me. Let's just go to something simple. You're still checking applications basically by hand as they come in.
Look, how many times is the person that does the crime a legal gun owner? Very rarely.
Right.
So
you can't take away the guns to fix the problem.
We have to fix the problem with the people.
I agree.
We need to have the resources. Poor communities need to have the resources to help with mental health in these communities.
So we have too many lawyers fucking up the system. We're never going to get
doctors.
I'm not going to get my RICO in this case. I got a bunch of people walking around. It wasn't me. I wasn't there.
Right.
Can't prove it. And we'll discuss the timeline for you. What is the first sighting of, oh shit, he's gone off the rails? Where does it start?
So documented, it starts in the early 80s, the late 80s, early 90s. There's starts to be trickles about, Jeffrey Epstein likes him young, blah, 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 blah. But he was so powerful and people feared him so much that his secrets obviously were kept, right?
Which we've now demonstrated. So this guy's been capturing and collecting. And again, look at what you're mad at. I'm mad at the government. I'm mad at the corporations. No, look at the guy in the middle who's squeezing the data for one, if not, I'll bet dollars to donuts he's playing both sides. That's a smart business move.
I have to be honest and say that I truly 100% am sold that he was a Mossad agent at this point. Not CIA.
I'm 100%
Mossad.
sold that he was working for corporate interests as well as...
But there was no corporate
He's working for
interest.
everybody.
See, the thing is...
Based on the way he's laying this out, my current answer is, well, if you're capturing both sides.
Because that's what the Mossad wants to do. People think that because Israel is our ally or any country is our ally, they're not capturing data on our citizens. What happens is they need leverage just like anybody else.
Of course.
So what they do is they set up, there are Mossad agents all over this country. Believe that. And not only Mossad agents, we know there's...
Oh, yeah. No, there's sleepers of every ilk.
100%. So what happens is, for allies, they register. When they come to the country, they're a registered asset.
Correct.
The government knows that they're acting in our
Yes.
country, and the government's okay with it because we're doing the same thing.
We are too.
Then you have
We all play ball.
We have evil players like the Russians who come in. It's a different ballgame. They're not considered an ally. They don't register. They just go out and they try and recruit.
No, they come over the Mexico line and they do it the hard way,
They try and recruit.
those countries.
What they do is they try and recruit, like anyone else. Like when American CIA officers go to different countries, they look for students. They try and get students and...
Totally understand.
Okay.
We all play the same game. But the general rules of the game are, you don't blow up schools, you don't do this, you don't do that. Because if you cross those lines, then I have to bring in the big ships.
But you got to understand where the Mossad... I tried to put myself where the Mossad was coming from. They look at, we're an ally, of course. But what if the wrong president gets in, like Obama again? Look what Obama did to the support for Israel. He eroded support for Israel to almost a breaking point. If Trump didn't get elected and Hillary Clinton would have got elected, and this is nonpartisan, this is fact, and Hillary Clinton would have got elected, they would have had almost zero support in Israel. Because if you look at the Israeli lobby here in America, the Jewish lobby, they don't consider themselves Israeli.
No, I completely understand, and I completely grasp that.
The Mossad needs to have this leverage, and that is why they set up this honey trap. Originally, it wasn't for that purpose, but it morphed into this huge, gigantic thing when Epstein got this power. So he started hanging out with Bill Clinton, and that was the mea culpa for these guys, the feather in their hat. We got Bill Clinton now. Once you have that man, guess what? Who was the biggest political animal, and maybe in the history of the country until he got fucking caught up in those scandals?
All right, so you need lots of untraceable money.
Okay, so that brings us to Wexner and the mega group. Keep going.
I need an in, so I'm set up. So I'm looking for someone who's definitely on the corporate top 10%. So his legitimate holdings probably when he starts this whole thing in the 80s.
After he left Bear and Stearns because they were
right after Bear Stearns, he walks out the door with a payoff.
whatever Greenberg gave him,
whatever. So let's say the guy's probably worth 5 to 10 at that point.
Right.
So everything's plausible.
No clients, mind you. He has no clients when he leaves Bear and Stearns.
Nothing. He has nothing. He has money. In a short period of time, what's the first property in the timeline?
You know, I'm not really positive. I had to look at my notes. I didn't bring my notes exactly where the properties were purchased, the timeline when they were purchased. But the New York townhouse.
The townhouse for $1. Right. And that's what I'm bringing up. Where do the properties come into play? I'm looking at this if you hired me to do what Epstein did.
But that's the thing. He didn't hire anybody. He didn't have to hire anybody.
Well, okay.
Because the Mossad set this all up for him. Or I'll just say the Five Eyes of Intelligence set him up.
Okay. I'm just looking at this from a funnel principle, right? So back in the 80s, I'm sitting around in a room. What are we going to do about the fucking Americans? And Ronnie Reagan's out of control. And, whatever the fuck set them down the deep bunny hole of, bring in a guy. We need a plan. What's the plan?
Right.
All right. Well, we need an American asset.
Yep. With Israeli ties.
With Israeli ties. Well,
big time.
Any asset's going to have that tie. I'm going to remove that.
Yeah.
Because that's too overt.
Okay.
But I need him corporate. Mm-hmm. America is corporate.
Yep. That's where
and it's political. That's what it is.
And it's all intertwined. So
what corporate end is
L brand?
A straight end.
The L brand.
Hold on, we're not at Wexner yet. Let's just Let's just start with our lead asset, which is Epstein. This dick bag.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
He's a dick bag. Well, we got a guy who used to work for Bear Stearns.
Right.
The Bear Stearns?
Yep.
That Bear Stearns. The ones we invest with.
Mm-hmm.
That Bear Stearns. Okay. We're gonna set him up to retire. We got an in. We'll get him out. We'll give him some startup money.
Yep.
He's day one on the street. Let's assume he doesn't know dick from donuts the day he walks out of the door, other than, yeah, I signed with them.
Right.
Okay.
Now I have a job to do. What do I do?
What's my next logical step?
That's where Maxwell comes in.
My next logical step is, what do you want? We want information on what controls the United States. Mm-hmm. And they are only two entities. Corporate interests.
Yep, exactly.
And political interests.
K Street or the actual Senate itself.
So take me up in the timeline. He pops on the radar in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, well, he was on the radar on the 80s because they had that investigation into Bear and Stearns. So he was part of that investigation, and that's kind of why he was let go.
Okay.
So there was talk that he was working with the government at that point as a witness.
Okay.
To save his own ass kind of situation. And, like we always talk about, the federal government's coming for you. You got to do what you have to do. 97.3% conviction rate, something like that. So whatever. Now, he's at his own entity at this point, right? So
he's a free agent.
So
who understands political money structuring, a couple of political connections. I'll give the man credit, not knowing shit about him at this point. He's definitely got political connections on some level. He's definitely got big business connections at some level.
Yes.
He looks very good on paper if I'm sitting in that meeting as a, okay, what are we going to do?
Well, it looked good
this
enough.
Guy.
It looked good enough to Bill Gates. It looked good enough to Elon Musk. It looked good enough to all of them. All those guys, they invested money with him. Fact, look it up. I've been reporting this. Bill Gates, after the fact, invested money with this man.
Right. And again, much like my own business, all I have to be is in the right party, right?
Yep.
Tonight I go to the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. Somebody asks me what I do. I do marketing and content and consulting and future blah, blah, blah. I've got some kind of, depending on where I am in the title, which leads to, I've got a new product I'm thinking of doing for boxing. If I engage that conversation, I have a client.
Right.
He's opened the door for me. So now all I got to do is take the asset in the 80s and start inserting him into the political, basically the party circuit.
And what happened? Not even the party circuit. See, Maxwell and Epstein have been friends forever.
Okay.
Ghislaine Maxwell. And she comes from a family of very powerful people.
So who's the sweeper in this? Who is Epstein's go-to for doing that? You simply have to meet Jeff.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Okay.
Because she comes from that.
So he's
that circle.
Literally still doing nothing.
Correct.
And I'll bet even at this point, and I say this tongue in cheek, he's not corrupted by the system yet. This is a guy early in the system whose only job is get them doing whatever it is that they're doing so we have political leverage or business leverage for our own interest.
Right.
That's your job, bro.
Yep. And so Maxwell gets involved, right? And she's his in to the social circles.
Okay.
She's the in. She's the one that
You
says,
simply have to meet Jeffrey.
he's such a lovely man.
And by the way, she didn't know either.
And you should bring your daughter.
Right.
That's pretty much.
She didn't know?
No, of course not. But she was, when you look at the documents, she was accused of actually raping these women with him.
Right.
So we'll get back to that at another point. But anyway, Maxwell's the in, right? Her father was a Mossad agent, Robert Maxwell.
Okay. So now we've got two people paired up.
Right.
Who are now going to try to make these connections, either on a business level.
To build
or,
dossiers on people.
I don't even think that they have a game plan of let's start providing these people what they want.
See, I think that they did. I think that it's always been that was
the game plan is give them whatever they want.
The plan for the Mossad was get them rolling into the group, make sure that they're welcomed by the rest of the billionaires, the rest of the rich people, and then, hey, guess what? Jeffrey has this island.
What an introduction! So the introduction, you have to simply meet Jeffrey. You meet Jeffrey. Jeffrey's fairly engaging and fairly hypnotic,
and he says to you, "Hey,
what are you
Prince
into?
Andrew? I got this great idea. I have this island. It's super private. Whatever you're into,
take you out on a boat.
We'll
take
come
you on
hang
a
out.
plane.
Yeah, we'll just have a
take you on
great time."
Right,
so
right.
they go down. Prince Andrew flies in. Allegedly, I'm just using him as an example.
As an example.
So he flies down.
He's 4 bottles of whatever in on it.
Deep.
What are you into, bro?
Right.
What are you into?
There's all these hot girls everywhere. Next thing you know,
I like little boys between the ages of 7 and 11 who walk with a limp, who stare at the sun for too long, have a third eye. You won't believe this, Andrew.
Right. I actually have that.
I actually have that guy here.
Right. Why don't you go have a great time?
Have a great time.
Then he goes in, does whatever he does.
Videotape going in, videotaped in the
Coming
room.
out in the action of it. Gets up the next morning. He's leaving. Man, this was a great morning. I puts on his bathrobe. Epstein's waiting for him with the tape or the flash drive. Look, I got you. You're mine, buddy.
Okay. I don't think you play the cards that quickly if you're really, because he would have you'd burn the situation at that moment.
No, because you know you have him right away. If you have that, it ain't like you have something that can be disputed. I have you on tape with a minor, and she'll attest to it. So now what? You can get away.
Look,
as a rich person,
if
you can
I
get
was
away with
setting
anything.
this up and they were pitching this to me as we got a plan, Lee, right? I always do the joke about Bob Arum and the HBO streaming thing. I said, Bob said, fuck HBO, walked into a room and went, what do you got? Right? In this situation, I'm the guy at the table with the what do you got? And I go, well, I think you sit on it for a few years. I don't think you play the ace.
Because they're building their dossier. Andrew came in later into the scope. He wasn't one of the first people. What I'm talking about is they've already had this thing rolling. Wexner was the first guy to get caught up in this. When you look at everything that goes back, Wexner is his seed money. He was his right-hand man rolling throughout all of this. And who was Wexner's buddy? Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. Boy, there sure are a lot of coincidences. You really want me to believe a lot of coincidences to believe that this guy was actually...
But we didn't know.
But nobody knew.
Nobody knew, by the way. I'll keep saying it.
So what we have here is we have an obvious attempt at gaslighting. They want us...
At the very least.
They want us not to put these pieces together. So that's why none of it was reported. But what they didn't count on were guys like Mike Cernovich, who went full bore with this to get these files opened. And once these files were opened, that was the death knell for Epstein. The day after these files were released, it was dead.
Okay. We'll stick to the timeline for all of you because that was the request in the email. Sorry again for the wind. When it blows on me, I try to just speak up a little bit. But look at the view.
Worth it.
I can put shit, when I do Fight Net Radio, I put shit content out because look at the arena.
Exactly.
Some of the worst shows you will ever see on Fight Net Radio are me talking to someone, what have you got? We don't really have anything. Actually, I'm intrigued. I'll keep saying it. You guys think I'm just being a dick about this. I think this is a brilliant move. I don't think you even need to go to the extreme of leveraging these people for any, you can achieve these goals. By the way, I'm putting this out as my resume. You can achieve this goal without really breaking laws.
It just...
You don't need to, look, I think, my personal feeling, there's a period of time where there's a startup here. right?
For sure.
And in that period of time, he's making a mental decision of how far am I willing to go?
See, but that I don't think he didn't make any of these decisions. He was.
So you think he's leveraged into the situation?
But he was also profiting from it. Because what happens is once he has this information on them, that's how he got their money into his
So you
account.
think you're going to go full CIA on this, which is we turn him with his own footage of him with the little boy.
Yeah.
Hey, calm down.
Yeah.
Jeff.
And I don't even know what's wrong. I don't even know.
Jeff, I don't know what your kink is. Look, you like killing puppies. Cool, bro. We just have video on it. But Jeff, calm down.
Right. And it could be anything. It could have been the Bear Stearns.
You're going to go to jail for Bear Stearns.
Exactly right.
You're going to take the heat for the entire company. Jeff, calm down.
But we
got a better idea.
The American authorities say, look, Jeff, here's the deal. We're going to send you to prison.
We want to give you $500,000.
But guess what? No. The American says, well, we got someone else that would like to talk to you, one of our friends. If you don't think that happens.
No, I completely... Look, everything we're discussing, which is the greatness of this show, is plausible.
I'll tell you what. It's everything we talked about before stuff was really starting to break is all happening now.
What I've actually figured out about this show and why you guys are actually listening to it or watching it is the news and the information and my crazy reconstruction of the events going, this isn't that crazy.
Right.
And it's not crazy. This is a shout out to all you conspiracy people. I recommend you get a Lee in your life to go, all right, let's be calm about this, right? Let's role play this whole thing out. Jeff, you're going to jail. You're going to go to jail in a big dark hole for a real long time. Long time, Jeff.
Right. But,
Jeff! But, calm, Jeff.
Look, all you have to do is see how they ran Whitey Bulger.
Again, I agree. And I don't have problems with these situations because the ends justify the means. If the ends justifying the means are another country, then I have a problem, and you guys aren't really going to like this take. Let's drop a couple of bombs on Israel and see how they feel about it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, can't do that.
No. See, the thing about
they're a political stabilization for the Middle Eastern.
They're just
region.
so much wrapped up into
it.
So much.
And they purchase a lot of shit from us.
And not
any of the good stuff you'd think, like, oh, they buy toilet paper from us. No.
It's the one democracy of 8 million people surrounded by 750 million people living in dictatorships. Basically.
Yeah, right. They're the number one purchaser of all things weapons, great and small.
And let's not discount what they produce technologically.
And I want to make this abundantly clear because much like everything I talk about, including boxing, everybody goes, oh, you're just race baiting and you're doing this. No. Stupid is fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's it.
I've taught my daughter, and she will be the first one to jump up on an episode and look you guys in the face and go, what are the Honish family rules? We do not discriminate based on race, creed, color, religion, sexual orientation.
On action only.
You have no comment, correct? I have no comment.
Right.
What do we discriminate? Stupid people.
Yeah, exactly right.
Fucking A. Call it out all day long.
Always.
So you thought that you'd get away with this shit based on the ignorance of all the people involved because the right doesn't know what the left is doing. We got Jeff. And Jeff, you're going to go to jail.
And once they had their hooks in them, just like any other asset, the relationship builds and the information they want grows and grows and grows. They push the limits.
And the only way to keep Jeff going is to pump money at him.
No, because it was mutually beneficial. But I mean, once they had the guy in the honey pot, the honey trap, he was going to put his money in with Epstein's trust, whatever the flip that is. So now
it's, and you guys downloaded it, and people ask me all the time, are you into it? I said, no, I think I'm going down a really dangerous slope.
Yeah,
it's not, I'm not fearing corporations or entities or the fact that is it good for me or bad for me or can I put sponsors on it? It's bad for me from the standpoint of I'm putting myself out in front of you guys to tell you what I really think on a corporate level. I don't have a lot of problems with this.
Right.
I don't. And that makes me seem like a heartless monster. I'm not condoning kids or any, like,
right.
You guys, everybody looks at this case and goes, let's break this down to its smallest form. I don't think you can do that.
Right. No.
I think you have to look at
There's
we're
certain angles of
allowing a system to be in play, which, by the way, I'm for the system. I'm all in on the system.
I am not.
He is not. That's why this show's working. And this show is actually work for me. This isn't something where I want to sit around and go, Okay, Bobby, can you tell me more about 1995, the first arrest? Because this wouldn't be an engaging show.
It's like a spy book playing out in front of our eyes.
I get that.
That's why it's so fascinating.
I get that.
And even on a smaller...
and I'm actually afraid of the people who listen to this show.
I am not.
Follow Bobby.
Yeah, follow me, guys. You know what? At the end of the day, if you guys are supporting this show, like I said 100 times, I'll chase these stories.
Can we do it like gun control? Can we see if they have mental stability and a rational brain if they listen to the show? Do we have like a litmus test that they take?
Do you have a rational brain or a mental capacity of more than a...
He needs to die. I mean, he's clearly a part of the Illuminati. That's my fear, by the way. One of you nutbags goes, Lee's part of that crowd.
But here's the thing, though. At the same time, you have the legacy media drumming up all sorts of crazy hate.
I get that.
Go, ICE is bad.
Hey. Producer of Fight Net Radio, star of Fight Net Radio, guy who used to be a character to get views.
You know what I mean.
I want people to hate me on that show.
Right.
I am the antagonist to all boxing fans.
Right.
I should be the guy you look at and go, I don't want to agree with that dick.
Yep.
I want you guys to be listening to this show going, I don't agree with Lee. But he's right.
Right. You know,
because you have to be, it can't be an opinion piece. It can't be Bobby just coming on and going, look, we can go full ADD on you guys and go down every corner.
Oh, if I was to even a fraction of the leads I followed on this story,
right,
the rabbit hole leads I followed on this story, everything that I talk about, I have sourced.
Right, and you get excited about it.
Yeah.
Just like I get excited talking about my shit.
I source this stuff, and I spend hours and hours compiling this information.
And you know what it's going to come out like? A big pile of vomit.
Yeah.
And then it's going to get lost, and that's not an engaging conversation. The engaging conversation is, if this was your company, I'm looking at all of you on video. This might be a great big moment for the video. If this was your company, you would do the same fucking thing. You know why? Because people are paying you to do it.
And at the same time, if it was your children,
you'd also want me prosecuted.
Right. So for me, I feel like we're acting as a surrogate voice almost for these women who didn't have a chance.
Well, I think there's two separate situations here. All right. Is the outrage based on we allowed it? Because if you think that Jeffrey Epstein is happening and it is Mossad or it is the U.S., whatever it is, you don't think this is happening in other countries under other platforms?
100%.
Right. This is a built platform.
And that's what I was saying. This is globally.
Right.
This is globally.
This is a game everybody's playing. So this is happening everywhere where people are getting hurt.
Well, just take a look.
Just little people in the middle.
Just take a look. Just take a look. You have, just alone, you have, in America, you have all the people who have been accused. England, several people accused. France, several people accused.
I'm with you.
Worldwide, and that's why it's a trafficking network.
There is a Jeffrey Epstein in England. There is a Jeffrey Epstein in Canada.
Yes.
There is a Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes. But not to this extent. See, he was, no.
I would even say to this extent, I think that this whole thing fell apart. I'll tell the flaw of the Mossad if they're watching. The flaw of the system was Epstein. You had a guy that had way too many kinks, way too many loopholes, way too many chinks in the armor. But it worked for so long because of the way media was structured.
And that was part of it, because he was willing to engage in the same things that his people were doing. So if a normal person says,
I get it. This, try drugs first. I get the angle, right?
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yep.
How do you hire a hooker? You grab her tits.
Right. And what does she say to you?
Does that actually mean that I understand that principle?
But what does she say to you? Are you a cop? Let me see your...
Yeah, right. And she'll grab my balls.
Right.
Right. I get the routine.
Yep.
Right? Everybody's got to play ball in the situation that's involved in the situation. By the way, yeah, that's how you get a hooker in Vegas.
The phone book.
much easier to just Google escort Las Vegas and you'll get a nice list, and it's really much nicer. But
illegal, by the way.
Illegal.
Go to prom if you...
I've never engaged. Wasn't me.
Yeah.
Wasn't there.
I
didn't know.
That. Wasn't me.
I didn't know.
It wasn't my picture.
Wasn't me. I also recommend a car that can be seen multiple times on the same road. Wasn't me. Got a camera? Got a camera at the light?
DNA?
Wasn't me. I wasn't there.
Gotta have DNA.
Wouldn't say I stay at the Days Inn for specific reasons, but
unbelievable.
Not that Days Inn. The one out there.
Yeah, no, not the one you're
Wasn't me.
It was not me.
Was not me.
Anyway.
Do you guys get it yet?
And that's what it all comes down to.
That's what this is.
Yes.
That's what this is.
It's a game of hot potato. I didn't know.
We know that you got a hooker.
But guess what? when it finally, the game of
We
hot
don't want
potato
to stop
ends,
you with the hookers, Lee.
no, we want to help you.
We want you to have more hookers.
And that's what they did.
In fact, Lee, we're going to give you a stable of your own.
Yep.
Legal. They'll be happy.
Who's going to get caught with a hot potato now that he's dead? That's what.
Would you like a boat to go with the hookers? Well, yeah. Lee, we're going to do one better. We're going to set your daughter up. We put her on a trust. Really?
And that's what they do. The Mossad or the CIA agency sets them up.
Again, I still think you can make the statement that it could be any company, it could be any
But
government.
why?
Same reason.
No, it's too expensive.
I'm Jeff Bezos.
It's too expensive.
I'm Jeff Bezos.
He works for the CIA, by the way.
Neither here nor there.
Well, very important.
Jeff Bezos. Well, we could do a whole Facebook show, and you guys aren't going to like my answers. Make a lot of money because of Facebook because I understand its loopholes. What? There's a whole Facebook episode with Lee explaining how to make money with Facebook. Well, yeah, if they're making money, that means I should be able to make money with it too.
100%.
There's got to be a loophole.
Yep.
But Lee, you just said there's 1.8 billion unique feeds happening on Facebook. Yes, there are. Sorry, bunny hole. I would say if I'm Jeff Bezos, if I'm Lee Honish, if I'm like, it doesn't matter. If my interests are what they are.
But they do that through the lobby. They don't need to do it this way. Because what happens is the lobbyists are so powerful in this country. And
I'm talking shortcuts.
I have an intimate knowledge of the lobbying system.
I do too. And it works much like this system. And it works really well. Look, if you guys don't believe it, I'll prove it
Just
up.
Google.
I'll prove it. No,
Google
it's even
history.
simpler than that. Everybody who watches football, raise your hand. How many drugs are you aware of that look like you'd never want to take that fucking drug for any reason, no matter what it cures? How many of you raise your hand? How did that drug happen if it actually kills 1 out of 97 million people who take the drug? Because they lobbied for it.
Yep.
Then they bought the ads for it.
It all starts with the lobby.
I'm with you. And that's the legal form of doing this.
And that's how they do it.
But it's slow.
Not really.
Ah,
Not when you're powerful enough.
this is way quicker.
No, here's what happens. Look at every single one of these senators and congressmen that retire. What
Bobby,
do
you want to open a casino. You have nothing but endless money. You have $100 billion. You've decided, I'm getting Lee.
Right.
I'm calling Lee.
So I hire a
Lee's
lobbyist.
the fixer.
A lobbyist.
Well, you're going to get one of those anyway for the slow wheel grind because you're going to need a license.
No, not really, because I have all this money. Here's what I do. Every single person that you're looking for something, say you're looking for something from the Arms Committee. Why are you fucking around with a member of the Arms Committee? You don't fuck around with a member. You
But
go
again-
to the chair.
but
and you
again-
don't you say to him, here's what you say to him. Hey, Dick Durbin, when you're all said and done, you got a nice cush job at my fucking lobbying firm, buddy. Make sure this happens. And one thing that's not a conspiracy, one thing I can tell you is a straight up fact is that. Just take
But
a look.
I also know the other end of it. Okay, you are now in the middle of Ocean's 13 and you're putting up the casino, right?
Right.
And you're blocking out the MGM Corporation who's now pushing back the other way.
Yep.
I need the MGM to be shut down, Lee.
Right.
I need you.
Well, it's still the politician is the one who's going to do it. The gaming commission is going to shut them down. No one else has the power. Who else can do it?
Well, if
Nobody.
I have the CEO with a picture with him and a goat.
They'll fire him. He's just a board member.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want him fired.
But it doesn't. What I'm
Look,
saying,
you're
though-
into goats.
What I'm saying, if
We have more goats for
you release that information, the board will fire him. He is not in control of the MGM.
It depends on how, yeah. I see the road now of how serious does the offense have to be to get them to take action.
That's what I'm telling you.
It's a flaw in the system.
It's a huge flaw in the system, and it's a reason that he had the Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, because the age of consent was a lot younger then. So what happens is, it all ties in together. All these dudes are working on the same platform, and it all comes down to one thing. The power of lobbying politicians, truly lobby to have big tobacco money, big alcohol money.
Pharma,
When I walk into that
I'm
office
with
as
you.
the lobbyist, I walk straight into the senator's office.
okay?
I don't stop. I don't talk to his chief of staff. I have access. There's a reason Eric Schmidt from
I'm
Google.
telling you that if this winds up being big pharma, you owe me an apology.
Deal. But if I'm Eric Schmidt from Google,
All right.
I go into Obama's office 116 times in the White House.
Again, if I'm Bezos, I expect to get front door treatment.
That's not my point. The point is, you expect it, and that's part of your whole entire elitism. You're just another citizen in this country.
Yes.
That's the whole nexus of this issue.
And your nexus of the issue is also this, and it should be all of yours, which is, well, I'm a regular person with regular interests. Shouldn't I have a voice? Yeah, he's called the 34th District Joe Blow that you hired. You're supposed to go down there. And by the way, you can go down and meet these people. Like, they are happy to meet with you.
These are your voices.
These are your representatives. You're not doing that shit.
Look, let me tell you what. Like, I don't have the answers. I'm not here to tell you to call your congressman, call your senator.
Should we do that as an experiment for next week? We'll get an assistant district attorney's information.
Yeah, the SDNY.
And we're going to call for a RICO case. There are about 500 of you right now that are registered to download this show. About 1,000 downloads per week. I haven't done any of my stuff to it yet to really advertise it because I want an organic group of people that are into the show for what they're into. My question is, can we get 500 to 1,000 people to blow up a low-level assistant district attorney for the United States government and demand that RICO charges be brought against all these people?
At the very least, it needs to be discussed. Because once a RICO, like we said, once that RICO word is thrown around, and once they slap that charge, even just as an indictment, you don't have to be, convicted. But once they slap an indictment, RICO on you,
can you slap
everything
that person with the charge?
No, but you can slap Ghislaine Maxwell with it.
Okay.
So and that's what they're trying to do in France, and that's another angle that we haven't talked about too much. They're going after Brunel in France, so that's going to open up another angle because once again, what happens? The Five Eyes of intelligence. The French are part of that, so they know what the score is here as well. This guy's been molesting and trafficking women in France for 30 years. This Brunel guy, the owner of MC2, the modeling agency. He sent Jeffrey Epstein 3 12-year-old triplets as a present.
Again, I don't know why you just don't stick to women of age. There are plenty that will do things for cash. And by the way, I mean that to all the married housewives who don't have real day jobs either. You bought into the system.
Right.
You are just as much of a problem as anybody else.
All of us are. And we're
all complicit. I need to take my American dream.
I need to take my responsibility because I voted for a very long time tribalistically. Right. I voted because this guy is more conservative or libertarian on this issue. That's stupid. I will never vote like that ever again in my life. I'm older now.
Because a guy like me came along and went, there's a niche that's on the fence.
Not even. As I've gotten older, I've moved way more to the center. I'm very socially liberal with all of my views. It's the only thing that I'm even partially conservative with these days is fiscally.
I'd go a step further, and I mean this to all of you who are into this. And I'm fascinated with all of you. If you don't believe me, I'll tell you what my constant text to Bobby is. It's fascinating. Because it doesn't meet it doesn't fit into the models that I understand.
Right.
We're a country where a niche put a reality star in as president.
100%.
Everybody take a deep breath.
But we have to.
That's not the lowest point. No, in England, they put a legitimate moron into power there for their shits and giggles because they're tired of their system.
Right.
Because these niches get marketed to with whatever scare tactics they need from these wonderful Roger Stone types who understand how to manipulate the message, right? You just hire a guy like me. What's your message going to be? We don't have a message. The message is, my favorite, Crooked Hillary. They wrote that. Right. They wrote that for you. Hired me. What do you think? Crooked Hillary. I like it. Just say it in a couple of speeches. We're going to start crookedhillary.com. We're going to have T-shirts.
Right.
And we're going to buy $10,000 worth of ads on Facebook.
The man's a marketing genius. There's no doubt about it.
Now you go to the other end of the spectrum. People trying to stay off the radar altogether.
Yep.
Getting burned by the system that's ultimately giving them their power and control right now. Because the only reason that this is a conversation, and this isn't over, and it isn't Bobby and I telling you who's going to win the fight this weekend, and it is Tyson Fury, short of Otto Wallen tripping and breaking his neck entering the ring. Did you go full? Yeah, I went full movie reference there. It is $1 billion baby. because of the way that these niches work, because of Joe Rogan's, because of podcasters,
Right.
because of these small groups, the conversation stays alive.
Right.
Right?
You know, it comes down to when you have like what we're doing now, we're building a community of people that are interested in what's going on. And when you're one that, you get swapped.
But are
away.
you interested because of the case, or are you interested because, oh, I've slept on this?
No, I've
No, I'm not talking. I mean this more in the rhetorical. I'm fascinated with you people because of the interaction. We've got one that seems to just be a guy who's kind of into it, and one who's clearly in the "let me tell you about Roswell" category. What? Lee's with the Illuminati. That's how he knows all this.
I wish I was with the Illuminati.
Okay.
And that's, I don't
drive a nice enough car to be in the Illuminati. You do.
Easy.
My point being is you slept, all of you.
Yep.
I don't even care what your kink is information-wise. My comment is, when's the last time you went down to the 34th district, rap on the door and go,
right.
What the fuck's up? Why aren't they trying anybody on Epstein? Oh, you're a conspiracy theory now. No, I'm not. And I pay your salary,
and I need answers.
And I need answers. And I need to know how we're allowing rapists to walk around. Like
that's
he's dead.
I feel like that's our role now. I feel like I'm the surrogate for the people. Their job is to listen to the show and fuel my.
Look, I don't want to talk about this. You can literally interview Bobby quietly through an email. He will be the first one to tell you, oh, Lee doesn't want to do this.
Yeah, no.
This is not on the top of my list of projects.
This is Lee's thing, you know?
This is not my gig. It's not fun. It's not happy. I've made it fun because, truthfully, I am a guy who gets hired to fix shit. Right? People hire me to get more of something. Getting more of something generally works on a leverage principle. I get Epstein. I get the principle.
Right.
I don't approve of the links he went to. And again, are you mad at the attorney for representing Epstein?
No, I can't be.
You cannot be.
Because
and here's the other thing, you can't be mad at me because here's Bobby's pitch again. Constitution, right?
It's my main thing.
I can say whatever I fucking want, right?
Yep.
I can make any podcast I want.
Yep.
Say whatever I want with whatever slanted views, no matter. I don't want to break it to anybody, but that's the guiding principle for every form of media that I produce. I don't care what your opinion is or isn't.
Guess what?
As long as you're not breaking a law.
Not everyone's for everyone.
Right.
So my thing in life is I don't ever go around trying to make other people happy. There's people that are going to dig this show. They're going to dig the way I present myself, the way I give them the facts. And then there's people who are going to be like, oh, that's ridiculous. And I don't worry about those people. All I worry about are you guys that are watching this show, you guys that want to make a difference, you guys that have had enough, just like me. Because guess what? At the end of the day, it's not going to be some politician we elect. It's going to be us forcing those politicians to do the right thing by making sure that they are no longer elected.
So
that's the only way.
What you're saying is I can't be mad at CNN.
No, you can be mad at CNN, 100%.
I can't.
Because they're the ones in charge of their news. They slant it and they send it out.
Again, we're slanting well as well.
Not really.
No. 100%.
No, not really.
Our reality happening on this timeline in this movie
what we're doing
is our slant.
We're presenting the facts. Whereas a guy like Chris Cuomo on CNN, he told us when the Wikipedia emails dropped, he said it was illegal for you or I to read those emails. You can only get your information from CNN. How is that acceptable? How is there no repercussions?
No, but that's his reality. Freedom of speech. Sorry, he's got a better platform than you.
Because you have freedom of speech.
That's what go back to what you're talking about, which is you could be upset that he has the forum.
No. Once again, it's illegal.
The platform.
It's because he's working with an unfair advantage.
I will keep saying this.
Do you know how rich the Cuomo family is?
I care about the crime.
Do you know how rich the Cuomo family is?
I understand.
Do you know how rich the Coopers are? Do you know who his mother is?
No.
The Vanderbilts.
Okay.
Gloria Vanderbilt is Anderson Cooper's mother. You're telling me that there's no other qualified journalist in the whole country besides these clowns?
It's not my point.
No, but that is
not my point.
Why do you think they're inserted?
If somebody is listening to this right now going, yeah, okay, go make a fucking podcast and get your audience. Like, we've got our audience. Like, my goal for this is pretty much hit. I mean, you're really, like, I don't need to, like, I have other things that I have to massage and actually work and generate audiences, and there's a rule called the rule of 1,000. Once you get to 1,000, you don't have to work on that herd anymore. Sorry that you're referred to that way, but go watch a Seth Godin book. Learn about marketing. Don't hate us. My hate, my anger, and the only reason I keep doing this, yes, is the almighty dollar. I'm going to make it clear. You guys are a herd, and you're into this. The reason I keep doing the show and not just getting somebody who can actually put a formulated opinion together with you is I don't think people get it. I think there's I don't know if I'm trying to convince you or I'm trying to convince them of, I only care about the crime.
Right.
Fuck the rest of this.
Then I hear you.
Okay? Because I know for a fact, just based on our emails, know for a fact, it's the system, man. It's the man. You're wrong.
It's
wrong. It's not cable TV. It's not voices in your head. It's not an aluminum foil cap on your head. You're wrong.
Let me tell you what.
It's what crimes did he commit and why didn't we prosecute him?
Well,
he's dead.
That's obvious.
He's dead.
No, because the justice system's screwed.
Okay.
When he was originally prosecuted, he should have been put under Gitmo. Do you understand what they did with Paul Manafort?
Which would have been fine.
Exactly.
Lock him up in a hole.
But they didn't. You have any answers from the Vegas shooting, Lee?
No.
Do we know anything about 9/11 yet, Lee?
No.
Can anyone answer why the CIA had a fucking office in Building 7?
I'm with you.
My point is this. Enough is enough. This is the straw that has broken the camel's back.
But we're moving to that age. And I'll say this, and nobody's really going to like this next one. I feel like we're going to have to get the hot take horn that we use on Fight Net Radio. Ba, 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 ba. Here comes the hot take. We're a bunch of fucking monkeys.
No,
we can't handle the information.
And that all starts.
You will fucking shoot your face off in the shotgun
That all
to
starts
go
in
get
school
the
system.
terrorists. We're gonna get us the terrorists.
And
They did it to us. No, they didn't.
And
Asshole. No, they didn't.
you know,
It's a terrorist act. No, it's not. It's a kid who didn't get enough hugs from his mommy and his daddy who shot up my daughter's school.
I agree with that 100%.
You wanna end gun crime in America? Here's a hot take. Prosecute the family.
Yeah, no.
That'll be the end of it. You
Anyone
want to
under
see
18.
gun crime end.
Anyone under 18.
Anyone under 18,
It's your parents'
a
responsibility.
violent gun offense by a family member, whole family's going to jail.
Yeah, no, I hear you. At the very least, I prosecute.
Oh,
At the
keep
very
all your
least-
guns. In fact, we're going to have a hold down wholesale. I want everybody to be armed up for this one because I want to see who to really put in jail this time.
Well, I got news for you right
The
now.
minute you pull a gun and you fire that trigger, not you, it's going to be your girlfriend.
See, but that
It's going to be your mom and your dad. Is that going to keep you from doing something stupid?
I don't think so. Because
Okay,
how many of these,
great. Then the whole fucking family needs to go
How many of
anyway.
these kids kill their family before they do it?
Great.
Here's what
Hot take. Y'all needed to go anyway.
Here's what I think. We need to have a place where people with mental illness. I'm going to say it.
I know mental illness
That's
is the biggest problem in the country.
100%.
I get that
shootings.
as a person who is.
Get off of your SSRIs.
No,
Get
no.
off all of it.
I'm with you, and I am a guy who is depression sensitive and diagnosed in recovery. Clearly, that's why I was taking the drugs and the alcohol. Don't believe me? Go listen to Drew Pinsky for 8 hours, drone on about it. Who was my doctor? That's why people are hooked on
100%.
drugs and alcohol.
100%.
It's to
It's the
get
cope.
out of depressive
Yes,
states
to cope with
because
their-
I lack serotonin.
Exactly right.
But I'm in a lazy society, so guess what? If I sit on a couch and stare at a TV that's feeding me the voices, it's feeding me the voices to be sad.
But that's my point. You have
Again,
those
you
voices.
want to fix the whole thing, or do you want to fix what's happening here?
I want
This show is about somebody didn't get prosecuted for a fucking crime.
Yep.
I had to look around. Nobody's here. We scared them all off. We're almost out of battery, so we're getting towards the end of the show. I can see that one happening. All right, so you guys got an hour and 40 minutes of content on this one. Yes, mental illness is the number one problem.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
That aside, we need to bring more firearms and bombs.
Right? If
We
don't-
need to give more money to Egypt.
Yes.
No.
I don't want any foreign aid. Unless there's
I get it.
unless there's
Again.
a disaster.
Again,
America first. And And that doesn't mean
The
Trump.
fact that
And every one of us should be thinking that.
we have homeless issues.
You live in
The
LA.
fact-
You know the deal.
The fact that we don't have a decent health care package in place.
What are we offering people?
I'm in California. Here's a mind boggler that I didn't find out until recently. I'm going to be penalized because I don't have health care in place.
Oh yeah, it's just like Obamacare still in California. The California communist state
I
of
get
California.
it. I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm being affected on
Yes.
my taxes and have to pay more because I don't have health care because I take care of myself.
Lee, during when Obamacare cracked off, I was fortunate enough to not have to be part of the herd. But at the same time, do you know how much my health insurance was each month? $668 a month.
I get that.
That's more than I pay for my Cadillac.
answer is we've got a country that's so all over the place. We can't have Canadian style healthcare.
Well, we have too many people for that. We need to have a hybrid. Here's what needs, in
I-
my opinion, anyone who makes less than $48,500 should have medical care.
Yeah.
But to take the pressure off of the medical system, we need to set up medical
But you're
clinics.
redefining the middle class as lower class.
I don't know. I don't care about classes anymore.
I get
yeah,
that.
I'm past all of that.
I'm totally
That's
with you.
up some of the past, in my opinion. Politically, I think that's all the past. Lee.
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's time to move forward, not
It's
left, right.
labeling the herd
Yes.
for marketing principles. I'm with you. I think the real line in the sand is the fact that two people who make $50,000 a year can't have a home and a life in California. Why? Well, because it's better real estate. Really?
Yeah. Well,
That's the gimmick.
and that isn't just me saying it. Nobody's moving to California.
No, I'm with you. But let's break it down. We have kids that aren't getting fed. Like there's real people.
Sure, big problem.
There's people not eating in a country that is full of slovenly wreck.
Trillionaires.
I'm a cash guy. Many people don't know this about me. I'm not a big credit guy or even checking accounts for that matter. I like cash, right? It lets me know. It lets me document. You pay your bills when you have